Hey guys, can you guys talk about movies? Can you talk about it for 2 minutes? I don't think they can.
What's the easiest way to do that? Well, simply to learn more vocabulary.
True.
That's what we're going to do today, right?
Yep, that's right. And I'm Michael.
And I'm Phil, and you're watching the IELTS Grind.
Remember to like and subscribe. All right, guys. So today we are going to break this into 3 parts. The first part, we will be showing you what you should be doing in your own vocabulary notebooks. We've talked about that before. You can see a
video there.
Link somewhere. After that, we will be giving you some sentence frames that allowed you to use the words instead of just learning a word and saying, oh, I know that, but you don't know how to use it. And then the third thing that we're going to do is just have a conversation that will include like the types of things that you may hear in part 1 or part 2 talking about movies.
Yeah. So it's kind of going to be a just a normal conversation between friends, but you can use it for the IELTS. Okay, so let's get into that.
All right. So first thing, we are going to be making mind maps about all vocabulary connected to movies.
Yeah, so we've got some blank pages here.
And some fancy pens.
Yeah, to make it looking interesting.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so we're going to do this separately, and then I'm going to steal all his best ideas. Okay, let's do it.
Yes.
That's my pen.
Bugger off. Well, at least mine is going to look nicer. I love having all these pens at my disposal. Oh God, I hope that isn't me.
Good smell.
Yeah.
Did you have a shower?
No comment. Okay.
Okay, so we're back. How did you get on there?
I mean, I feel like I did better in the past.
It's not easy when you're trying to think of words, but the thing is, you can always do this in stages. You don't have to do this all at once and in the first go.
And then you can also, just like he was saying, you can add to it later on as you learn more words.
Definitely, yeah. So how did you approach this? How did you
well, first of all, we're going to put this on the screen, but I just wanted you to see how much better mine was than Phil's.
Yeah, the main difference, perhaps the only difference, is that you've used a lot more colour, so it's more attractive to look at, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And why does that help us out?
Well, like you keep saying, you wouldn't want to look at something ugly, right? So I think it does make a difference. If your vocabulary notebook is presentable, you're more likely to want to look at it, and you might even remember things. I'm not a scientist, but it could be true.
Very true, very true.
Okay.
So let's look at our categories first. So first of all, I had genres. Did you have genres?
Yeah, I went to genre as well, yeah.
Okay.
Which means type of film.
Yep, that's true, that's true. Now, I actually broke mine off into categories that could be combined. So like romance and comedy, and then I turned that into rom-com.
I got rom-com there.
Yes.
I didn't get romance though. So that's something that was something I might steal, so I would add that onto romance.
He's a dirty thief.
I'm good at the IELTS. I'm going to get band score 9 because I'm stealing stuff from him.
Now, something that we can point out actually right here is because he used one color for the words that he already knew, he could add new colors in a second color.
Yeah.
He could add new
colors
words.
in a second color.
He could add new words in a second color.
I could add new words in a different word. Maybe a different font. Don't worry, we'll get there in the end.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I like that though. You kind of you're extending the vocabulary by adding things and combining things. Yeah.
I also actually added famous movies that I would know and be able to talk about here as well. Like under fantasy, I have Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that would be like so. I could definitely go through that and add that. For example, I did a historical drama.
Ooh.
I could definitely come up with I don't know, one of those Emma or something, or Little Women.
Yeah.
I watched that recently.
Great movie.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was about America, so I was a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, they had British accents. It was great.
So, what else did you do? I went for equipment.
Oh, I completely forgot about equipment.
Which is kind of, we don't always talk about equipment when it comes to movies, but I've got a student at the moment who is actually quite into his movies. He refers to himself as a movie guy. So for someone like that, he might want to talk about making movies as well as just watching them.
That's so true. That's so true. And if you know someone like that, you can steal their stories for when you talk about yourself on the IELTS exam.
I also, I went for adjectives.
Oh, that's another thing I didn't have. You're so much better at this than me, Phil.
I also thought about idioms, because I really want to get above a band score 7 in lexical resource. So when I think of some idioms.
What are some idioms you came up with?
To be on the silver screen.
Ooh.
To be in the limelight.
Okay.
To get your big break, I suppose that's almost an idiomatic expression.
By the way, that means to get your big break, that means to become wildly successful.
Yeah.
Usually because of one movie, like when you start to become successful.
Yeah, so it definitely fits it, right?
Yeah.
Although we can use it in different ways. And I just got lazy and I just put terms. I didn't know what to call this, but I've got all the words down there.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually don't have the name of this category, but I have the same thing. I couldn't think of what to say.
Which one is this? Let's just call that list. Movie list. It really doesn't matter. As long as you know what it means and you can add to it later, it really doesn't matter.
Now, did you say plot?
Yeah, I've got that. So in my terms, I had things like a plot, a sequel, remake.
Okay. Settings, characters, theme, tone?
Yeah, well, I didn't have that, but I had like a take, I had a script, special effects.
Ooh, nice.
A premiere, a film crew, stuff like this.
I thought I was going to like stuff my worksheet in his face, but the opposite is happening. He's showing me up. His is so much better.
But I didn't have settings, characters, theme, so I mean, this is the thing. It's always good to do this with a partner.
Yes. Tell your friends about us. Watch our videos together and do the practices with your partner.
And another great tip, it's great to do it with a partner who thinks they're better than you, and then you show that you're just as good as they are. Always fun.
Now, I had one more category, and that was cast.
Okay,
and
good.
director, star, producer, audio technician, lighting technician, composer for the person who does the music. And then I remembered some later, so I added that in a second color, actor. And then also makeup artist and costume designer.
Nice. Okay, those will be terms that I'm stealing for my list.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this isn't enough though.
Yes.
We've got to take it a step further. Okay.
We've got to learn collocations, and we've got to learn how to use this vocabulary, which is a good thing you're here to be with us so that we can show you how to use them.
Yeah. So for example, if we took something like actor, some collocations could be the main actor in a film, for example, or an unknown actor, which is often the case.
Terrible actor.
There's also, if you want to get even more technical about it, there are terms like, I'm trying to remember the term now actually, it's, I think they call them theme actors.
Ooh, something. Method actors.
Oh, this is a type of acting.
Yes.
Yeah, a method actor.
Method actors.
But I think it's theme actor. Might have to check this one, but it's where they, no, that's not the right term. Maybe I'll cut this one out, but I can't remember the term. But this is the thing, I will go away and I will look this up and I will probably add it to the screen later on, and I could add that to my notebook.
So good that he's the editor and he can do these things.
Okay, so that's one way that we could do collocations, but to come up with some phrases.
Yeah, so here's a sentence frame. It's got a great. So this is a really nice sentence frame that you can use, and then you can replace a lot of nouns there. It's got a great plot.
It's got a great director.
It's got a great director. It's got a great story.
It's got a great main actor.
Yes.
It's got a great popcorn booth in the
Yes.
cinema.
I love this movie because it's got a great plot. I love this movie because it's got my favorite actor.
Yeah.
I hate this movie because it's got a terrible story. Yes.
I hate this movie because I can never remember who's in it. Okay, so this is what we would do. We'd go and add all this to the mind map here.
Yep.
And as time goes on and we came up with new phrases, we'd go back and do that.
What are some common words that students have trouble with? Like they use the wrong collocation or they use the word in the wrong way? I have one off the top of my head. Touch.
Touch.
Yeah.
Movie touch.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to elaborate on that?
So, unfortunately, I can't remember off the top of my head how they misuse this word, but the way that you should be using it is this movie really touched me.
Ah, okay.
Yes. It was a very touching movie.
Yeah.
Don't say the movie is touching me.
No, that means something else. It means the movie's alive, which is actually
Hey, Phil.
which is a common plot actually. When, have you ever watched that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie when he goes into the movie and the movie characters come out?
No.
You never saw that one? It's
No.
it's like a bad '90s film, but yeah, he's like an action hero that it's something to do with a gold ticket or something.
Okay.
But yeah, the movie touched them there. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is to take this to the next step.
And
which is-
start having conversations about it
Yeah.
that hopefully you guys will steal some ideas and some answers from us and use it yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Phil, tell me about your favorite movie of all time.
Oh, okay. Yes. Well, I'm quite into kind of old movies, black and white movies. So I rewatched a
Dinosaur.
no, but this is the amazing thing. People really disregard any black and white films. Anything sort of before the 80s, people think is archaic and, not worth their time. But if you look at the whole history of cinema, black and white films are sort of 90% of the entire backlog of films. But the film I really like is called Reach for the Sky. And if you watch my previous video all about someone that I admire, it's about this famous pilot called Douglas Bader. It's a very famous film, and it follows his life. So it's kind of a biographical sort of film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know who's in it? Like, were there any famous actors?
Yeah, so one of the most famous sort of actors from the period, this is in the 1950s. His name is, I'm pretty sure it's Kenneth More, but he was in many famous films, The 21 Steps and many others that I can't remember.
Did it have a good score? A good musical score?
Yes, it did. It's got a sort of, I wouldn't sing it to you because I don't want to put you to sleep, but it's got quite a memorable sort of theme song to it.
Okay. Did you buy the soundtrack?
No, because it would have been on very old technology, probably like a big record or something. But it's a very old film. It was made 30, 40 years before I was born.
Was it a long film?
I would say 90 minutes long.
How on earth were you introduced to it?
Because I knew the history of the person, this pilot. He's very famous where I'm from, the UK.
Yeah.
And it was just natural. I was interested in...
So it wasn't your dad or your brother or anything? You found it by yourself?
It probably was a rerun on TV. They played it again. Often they do it on afternoon movies or a matinee or something.
By the way, if you guys haven't noticed, I'm a great listener.
Yeah.
And Phil likes to talk about himself.
Yeah. Well, it's normally the way it happens. So, Mike, I'm super interested to know this. What kind of movies don't you like to watch?
Oh, I hate watching horror because I hate being scared.
Yeah, not pleasant.
My girlfriend made me watch a pretty famous movie that came out 2, 3, 4 years ago now called It. It was the movie with the clown who went around like it was a monster clown.
Yeah, Pennywise.
Pennywise.
Let's say, what's his name?
Stephen King. It was adapted from a Stephen King novel, that's right. Oh. And this is the second adaptation, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was a remake.
Exactly. But the thing is, I went and saw the movie in theaters with my girlfriend, and I heard the whole movie. But I only saw about 25%. Because most of the movie, I was watching it like this.
I don't know about you, but for me, it's not, when it comes to horror, I'm not scared of gory things. Like, I can watch war films and look plenty of blood and guts and things. But the thing about horror film and thriller films, it's the suspense. That's what gets me. I don't like the feeling that something's about to happen. Yeah.
Yes.
So, did you go to that movie expecting it to be a horror, or did you think it was going to be about computers?
No, I knew.
IT. Michael goes along, oh, it's a lovely film about computers.
Oh no!
What's that clown doing there?
Oh man, that's great. That's great. Where are the British actors? By the way, a great British TV show is The IT Crowd,
Yeah.
which is a great British sitcom. It's a bit older, it's funny, it's great, and we talk about it in a video on how to use TV shows to, how to use TV shows to improve your score on the IELTS exam. But yes, that's great.
Have you ever seen a movie which you kind of turned off halfway through or walked out of the cinema?
No, because I paid money for it. I'd never just leave. Though I did work in a movie theater, so I did see the endings of a lot of movies before I saw the beginnings.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, you got to clean the theater and you're waiting for people to leave and you go, oh, so that's how it ends.
Okay. Spent 6 years of your life going, these are beautiful credits, which are the names of all the actors and people that participated. Yeah.
Do you stay to watch the credits, Phil?
I do, because sometimes you get those kind of, I can't remember the right term for it, but they're like secret sort of sneak previews of the next film, kind of like
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
By the way, he just did paraphrasing, which is a great skill for the IELTS exam.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
When you're not sure if you used the right word, you can explain it to make sure the examiner knows what you're talking about, or just to help people understand what you're saying.
Now, because you've stayed this long, we're going to give you a special surprise. So far, the conversations we've been having have been quite personal. And remember, part 1 and part 2 of the speaking part of the IELTS exam is all about you. Yeah. But part 3 is about a more abstract topic. So because you stuck around, we are going to have a little bit of a more abstract conversation that you can key in on.
Serious face.
Serious face. So, Phil, real fast, do you think with the rise of Netflix and streaming services that cinemas are going to go out of business in the future?
I don't think so, because unless services like that have a total monopoly on films, there are still certain types of films which aren't available. So I do remember there was one film that I went to see that wasn't available on Netflix. So because I don't think one company can have a total sort of dominance of one industry, I don't think it's going to happen.
But do you think that, what about in the next 10 years or the next 20 years? Do you think cinemas may disappear within that time span?
It's possible with the way that a lot of businesses have sort of closed down in the last 10 years. But it's quite hard to predict things like that as an average moviegoer. But it's possible. I couldn't give you a definitive answer though.
He's doing a really good job hedging his answer and saying like, hey, I'm not 100% sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Phil, do you have a technical, high-end, abstract question for me?
Yeah, definitely. Do you think that the actors within the movie business have got a more difficult job than average people?
You know, I don't know any actors aside from you and me.
Yeah.
And like, that's a tough question. I haven't really thought about that before. Give me a second to think about it.
Good.
So, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of ignorant here, but what I can say is that I'm envious of how much money a lot of them make. So I'm personally of the opinion that for how much money they make, and I'm talking about the big name actors, you know, the super rich, I feel like they probably don't do enough work to warrant that kind of money. Like, I don't see their job as being particularly difficult, but this is, again, coming from a point of ignorance. I never had to memorize lines before. I never had to pretend to be something that I'm not. I'm always this jolly. And so, yeah, I have to say, I don't think they warrant that much money, and I don't think that they work harder than other people. Yeah.
Okay. I don't even need to ask why, because you've explained that very well.
Haha.
Okay, so that was an example of how we might approach part 1 and part 2, just using what we've got here, just to jog our memory, to get the juices flowing, the creative juices flowing. And this is exactly what you can do at home by preparing and then thinking of questions for yourself, or working with a partner and just thinking of questions on the spot.
And by the way, guys, there were a number of words that we used in our conversation that we didn't actually have in our vocabulary part. So if there were any of those words that we used that you're unsure of, feel free to ask in the comments down below what they mean.
Yeah.
Happy to help you out.
And I'm just going to write them down here on my page. Okay, guys. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel so far and you like what you're seeing, well, why not subscribe? Because we do this twice a week, and you're going to have plenty more videos of this type of things and all things to do with the IELTS.
All right, guys. Thanks again for coming. Remember, like this video if you like the comment, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Peace.